And we're recording.
All right, I'd like to go ahead and open up the Warrenton Board of Alderman meeting for Tuesday, December 6, 2002. If you would, please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance with us.
Always seem to be in the way.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There he is.
Every time I'm at this seat, this second seat.
All right, next on the agenda would be the introduction of Samuel Robinson.
Mayor and Board, Samuel Robinson started November 7th.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome, Samuel.
aboard.
Robbins, not Robinson.
I'm sorry, Robbins. I said Robinson. My correction. I'm sorry if I offended you on that. Next item will be consent agenda.
We have the regular meeting minutes from November 15, 2022.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Schultz, seconded by Alderman Cullum. Roll call vote.
Alderman Miller,
Yes.
Alderman Schultz,
Yes.
Alderman Crump is absent, Alderman Quarter,
Yes.
Alderman Cullum,
Yes.
Alderman Jaspering.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with one absent. Next will be hearing from the public. Anybody who would like to step to the podium and make a statement, please come forward, state your name, and we'll hear your comment or comments.
No.
Not seeing anybody, we'll move on. Next will be Board of Alderman comments, if any.
I don't have any.
Anybody make the parade?
I thought the parade went well. I was in the bank parking lot and midway, I thought it looked very nice.
From where I was, it looked pretty packed as well, but I will say it was nice to see the inclusion of Truesdale with that.
I agree, 100%.
They were just as packed as Warrenton was, just to be honest. If you didn't make a trip down there, I can tell you it was. And I know I got several comments from their mayor and their alderman thanking us, and thought it was a great time to show joining cities teaming up to try and do something well together. So
Kudos to the lady that organized it. Can't remember her name. She was in our meeting.
Lori Miller,
Okay.
yeah, she always does a good job. She really does. Any other comments? All right. Next, move on to the upcoming ADA sidewalk project.
So I'm going to present this because MoDOT's not here. And what this is an agreement. They are basically wanting to utilize our easements along 47 so that a way they can upgrade their sidewalks. And they're starting at Walton Street. They're going to upgrade the sidewalks so that they're ADA compatible and they meet ADA requirements. So all they're doing is using our easements in our areas and building that out.
ODOT is.
MoDOT is doing that.
No cost to us.
That's a good question.
No cost to us.
No, there's no cost to us. However, my question for him tonight was the maintenance of it. I'm assuming, and I don't know this for a fact, but I'm assuming that we're going to continue maintaining them like we have in the past, but they're upgrading them.
So how quickly do they need this? Sometimes they need it like tomorrow. Is that one of these cases?
Yeah, we've kind of gone back and forth with negotiation on this agreement, back and forth.
Okay, so I can't make this decision, but I'm going to make a recommendation to the board. It's probably not going to make MoDOT happy, but if we have questions that we want answered and they're not answered yet, I say we table this until we get the answers. And I really don't care how long it takes for them.
Well, I'm kind of like the same way with the maintenance on it. We need to know what the maintenance is going to be, and who's going to be responsible for that before we make any decision, I think.
So they were supposed to have a rep here tonight.
He told me he would be here.
Sorry. Maybe stuck in this wreck traffic, maybe?
I mean, to give it a little bit of grace, maybe, but I think, and I'm not knocking MoDOT. We've just been in this pinch before where we've had problems, and I think the lesson we've learned as a board, and I can tell you as a mayor, is we need to have all our bases covered because we've got to answer to the public. And when the public starts asking questions, we don't have answers. We're not as transparent as what we've tried to be. So, I know my recommendation to the board, being the front leader, would be that maybe we table it, but I'll entertain a motion if somebody wants to table it.
I'll motion to table it till we get all the answers from
Second.
Motion to table this until we're able to speak with the rep and get the answers we needed for maintenance. Motion was made by Alderman Quarter, seconded by Alderman, I'm sorry, who was the second one?
Miller.
Miller, Alderman Miller. Roll call vote?
Alderman Schultz.
Yes.
Alderman Quarter.
Yes.
Alderman Cullum.
Yes.
Alderman Jaspering.
Yes.
Alderman Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with one absent to table this until further questions are answered. Next, we'll hear from City Administrator Brandy Walters.
Good evening. The first thing I have for you is I wanted to discuss with you that property that is on the north side of the new interchange, 178 acres. Greater Warren County Economic Development Council is working with that property owner to get it as a certified site through the state, which is what, when they get it as a certified site, a lot of times developers look at that because basically their due diligence has been done, or a lot of it has been done for them. And what they are wanting from us to progress that is for us to do an agreement with the property owner. That property is not annexed into the city yet, but his plans are to annex it into the city. So he would, that way they can get sewer services, basically. So they would like to do an agreement with the city so that if he annexes it into the city, we will bring the sewer to them, which is already kind of in our comprehensive plan. And we would bring sewer to them. We would plan on it. Once he annexes it in, we'd do the engineering. Once they have a set project that's going to go in there, then we would actually go ahead with the process of bringing the sewer to the property. We would put in there a clause in that agreement that if for some reason they don't get the zoning that they need for whatever project comes, then they would have the option to de-annex. So they wouldn't be obligated to stay within the city if for some reason that they couldn't get that zoning, whatever zoning that they would happen to need.
Maybe I see it differently than what some of the aldermen do, but I believe we talked about this in a workshop with that owner at one time, and I believe this was already discussed. They just want this in writing.
Correct.
Because, I mean, we already did kind of verbally agree that we would, if he ever annexed in, we would help provide some of the sewer and ran a large enough water supply up there to be able to supply anything that would be in an industrial needs.
For
as
the
well,
sewer part.
by the recommendation of the fire department when they were helping with the comprehensive plan and working with the overpass, correct?
Currently, we would do the sewer, and Montgomery Water would provide water for that.
We would do the agreement with Montgomery.
Our plant can handle all that too?
Our plant could handle
Currently can handle
the
that?
sewer part.
Yeah.
And because a project going in there is going to be so far out, that by then our sewer will be able to handle it.
Okay.
Without any issues.
Most project levels that they spoke about at one of the meetings, we could handle and then some.
Okay.
It was actually reassuring.
I didn't know if we needed, I knew we were going through the upgraded process. I didn't know if we needed that to do this, so.
And honestly, I mean, I know, there again, we did this a lot before everybody was on the board, but the pipe we ran up there for the water supply was probably 3 times what we needed to, but it was in case of industrial needs, and it has worked out really well so far. It's not to the property, but it is up there.
Yeah, I said, we have sewer already out to Rural King and already over there
And
anyway.
we have sewer up to very close to
Yeah.
that property already. It's literally, we just have to kind of bore underneath the service road, and it's not that far. But before I get into working out an agreement and working with the attorney and spending all that time, I wanted to make sure everybody was still on board with that.
Who's the current owner of that?
It's currently owned by George Heath.
Oh, he's a good guy to work with.
So you need a
I just need a motion saying that it's okay for us to start working on an agreement.
I'll entertain a motion to have Brandy proceed with the agreement, or forming the agreement to provide sewer if that property is annexed into city limits.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, who did the first one? I'm sorry. Okay, motion made by Alderman Quarter, seconded by, who'd you have? Because I think 3 people said it. Okay, call them. Roll call vote, I'm sorry.
Alderman Quarter.
Yes.
Alderman Cullum.
Yes.
Alderman Jaspering,
Yes.
Alderman Miller,
Yes.
Alderman Schultz.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with one absent.
The next thing I have for you tonight is with the new Amendment 3 passing, municipalities have the option to put on the ballot a 3% sales tax, which would be charged on just the recreational piece of the marijuana. And I wanted to see if that is something you guys want to do, then we need to put that on the April ballot.
I'm a no. People don't like to be taxed on top of tax on top of tax, so to put it on the ballot and people probably vote it down anyway,
What's the cost probably to put it on the ballot? Not much.
nothing.
Do it on April, it wouldn't cost us anything.
I say leave it up to the citizens. I say we put it on the ballot if they vote it down.
And keep
they
in
vote
mind,
it.
it's not across the board, it's only on the recreational piece.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
not the medical portion.
so, let me make a suggestion, because when do we have to decide that by?
Get it on the April ballot, January 24th, I believe.
Do a little more homework and give us the information. I mean, I know, I understand the no's and why, but can you get us a little more information? Just, it's a 3%. I mean, I'd kind of like to know exactly the ins and outs of it if I could.
I think
know that-
it's just 3% in it on top of the current,
It
that's
would
set
go
at
into
6, I think it goes to 9. We have the option to set it up to 9.
If the citizens vote for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're going to put it on the ballot, I'd like to know what the wording, what you would look at, what the wording would be, and what be it.
Okay.
So that way it's, if it is chosen 3-2 or what be it, at least we have clarifications as to what we're trying to look at and what we're gearing towards. I think just a quick flip of a, do we want to? I think we need to do a little more homework on that and give it to each other, because I read the 35 pages of the amendment, and I'm going to tell you, I'm confused as all get out as to what that is. It's legal as of Thursday, but yet there's, I mean, it's confusing, and it's a muddled mess on a lot of that, and I don't mean to be ignorant. I know the surface, we all know it, but the ins and outs of a lot of things are still muddled, and I'm sure the attorney would probably agree if he took a look at it. Have you? Do you see it as clear as cut?
Clear as mud.
Yeah, it's clear as mud, thank you. Are you guys okay with that? Just trying to get more information? I mean, I know you may not change minds of where you stand on it, but at least we'll have a little more information provided for it.
Sure.
Okay.
You want me to send you some information?
Please.
Via email? Okay, we can do
And then
that.
we'll put it on the agenda
Okay.
again, all right?
Sounds good. And the last thing that I have for you is to remind you that the annual awards banquet is this Friday at 11:30, and it'll be here in the Annex Building. And City Hall will be closed from 11:30 to 3:30 for that.
I would recommend, if you can get off or you can be there, even for a portion of it. It is a good time. I say a good time because you see the employees really enjoy themselves, and they will thank you tremendously, because I haven't seen one not have a good time, unless we have another water main break where half our crew has to go out and fix the water main break. But other than that, a lot seem to enjoy it. So,
11:30 to 3:30.
any questions on that? Anything else, Brandy? All right. Next, we'll hear from Finance Officer Dana Belaska.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. You have before you the financial statements as of October. Just a few highlights in the general fund revenues. You have sales tax, which is about 3% above budget, or $22,000, so we're pretty close there. Permits, $22,000 above budget, and franchise tax, $34,000 above budget. Operating expenses for the general fund are about $168,000 below budget, of which $100,000 is related to wage and benefits for vacancies. In the transportation fund, revenue's about $87,000 above budget, and the biggest contributor there is just the timing on the MoDOT reimbursement for the 47 sidewalk project. Again, expenses in the transportation fund, $87,000 below budget, of which $60,000 related to vacancies. Water and sewer fund revenues are about $12,000 above budget. Kind of a mixture there. You have industrial sewer, which is mostly Coke Refresco plant, is about $40,000 above budget, whereas, other residential water and sewer and connection fees are slightly below budget. In the operating expenses, $159,000 below budget for the water sewer fund. Of that, only about 31,000 related to vacancies. The other is just timing on supplies and meters and repairs at this point in the year. Were there any questions related to those October financials?
Are we having any issues with supplies as far as getting any type of supplies that we may need, meters or anything like that? Or are they coming in on?
I'll let Guy speak to that.
Guy?
There's some issues on like curve boxes and that, but when you find out they have them, you grab them. Meters have been coming in okay. I know we have a generator for well 9 that's like way late because of supply issues on that. But all in all, we're getting pretty much what we need.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion, or did you have something else?
Not for those.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $887,969.88.
So moved.
Second.
Was it Jasper? Motion made by Alderman Jaspering, second by Alderman Miller. Roll call vote.
Alderman Cullum?
Yes.
Alderman Jaspering?
Yes.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman Schultz?
Yes.
Alderman Quarter?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with 1 absent. Go ahead.
The next item is a budget adjustment. This budget adjustment relates to our prior fiscal year, so as of June of 2022. So it's a bit of a housekeeping measure. We did sell the TIF bonds, so there are several entries that are required to keep all our budget to actual activity related to that in sync. So that is the primary part of it. There's a little bit of a tweak related to the NID fund. But before we finish up our financials, and those will be presented to the board at the next board meeting, we need to officially make this budget adjustment.
Any questions? That's a bill. It's a bill here to follow.
Yes.
Okay. I shouldn't say later on the agenda because it's next thing item up. Without any questions, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion for the first reading of bill number 79-22.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Schultz, and I believe it was seconded by Alderman Quarter.
An ordinance amending the budget of the City of Warrenton, Missouri for fiscal year 2021-2022.
I'll entertain a motion for the second reading of bill number 79-22.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Miller, seconded by Alderman Jaspering.
An ordinance amending the budget of the City of Warrenton, Missouri for fiscal year 2021-2022.
Roll call vote.
Alderman Jaspering?
Yes.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman Schultz?
Yes.
Alderman Quarter?
Yes.
Alderman Cullum?
Yes.
Bill passes 5-0 with 1 absent. Anything else, Ms. Blunt?
No, that's it.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Aquatics Director Lisa Kramer.
Good evening. You have in front of you the Aquatic Monthly Report for November. A few highlights. We had 1,294 people come through our doors for the month of November, and we sold 32 memberships. 22 were new memberships and 10 were renewed memberships. And although attendance for recreational swim is up for the entire year, these last 2 months we seem to be trending down. For October, we were short 18 people coming in for rec swim, but for November, we were down 254 people. So I'm thinking that Wentzville opened up their rec center on November 7th, and I'm thinking that's what caused us to drop in attendance. I am a little concerned that it will continue to drop through the next couple of months for I don't know how long. So we are looking at new marketing, but I am open to suggestions and would love to see everybody start coming out to the pool and supporting it. And again, I'm open to suggestions on how to get those numbers back up, but I just didn't want any surprises moving forward, knowing that Wentzville opened up their rec center. Last month, Alderman Cullum asked about member retention rate. I ran a bunch of different reports and came up with a bunch of different numbers depending on what report I ran. So I ended up taking all of the names from 2021 and compared them to all of the names in 2022, and our retention rate is at about 35%, which in my opinion, again, is not great. But I really don't have any way of knowing why anybody has left. I do know of a few members that have left because of moving out of the state or to a different municipality. However, saying that, our membership is up considerably from last year. So last year, we ended the year with 484 memberships, and right now we're at 611. So membership does not seem to be an issue at all. We are very busy in the mornings from 6 to 12 with members only. It's those rec swim daily visits that seem to be down. Couple other highlights that's been going on. We did collect over 170 cans for the food drive this past November, and all those cans were donated to Agape. We have a raffle going on right now. If you come to the Aquatic Center and ask for a raffle ticket, we have over $2,300 worth of raffle prizes to give out. So we have some power cars, a big Barbie princess castle that I wish I could qualify for my grandchildren, some Harry Potter stuff, some Legos, a skateboard, a bike, all kinds of stuff. So come out and put your name in for the raffle. It is completely free. And while you're there, you can swim if you want. You don't have to, but we would love for you to. And lastly, this Saturday, we are transforming this room into a winter candy land for Cookies with Santa. We still have a few spots available. You can make a reservation by calling the Aquatic Center. Again, it is free. The first set of time is from 9:30 to 11, and the second one is 11:30 to 1. We will be decorating cookies. You'll be able to sit on Santa's lap and tell him what you want for Christmas. We will be making different crafts, and then anybody who attends that event will be able to swim for free at the pool that day. Any questions?
I don't believe so. Thank you. Next, we hear from Ground Maintenance Director Brad Boozy-Cruz.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. Do you have my monthly report for November? Some of the highlights we had, we put all the Christmas decorations up. We've finished the upstairs remodel. We've blown out all the irrigation at all 3 of our sites. We started on the downstairs renovation, and I think we finally did our last cutting and leaf grindings on the parks, hopefully, for a while. So, been a little bit busy.
Slightly, huh?
Just a little.
The upstairs looks good. I look.
I think
yeah,
I think
did a
the
nice
ones that
job.
are up there really enjoy it. So it's
Yeah.
kind of nice to get
I'm
them
sure
upstairs.
they are out of the dungeon down there.
Huh?
I'm sure they are out of the dungeon down there.
Any other questions for Brad? Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Public Works Director Guy Jeevers.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. First item I have is my monthly report. We had 3 water shut-off repairs. Those are usually coming from non-payment for water bills, and we can't get them shut off, so we gotta go out and dig them up. We had a water repair on main break on McGee and Steinhagen. Some street repairs on Eric Hill. We got all the speed limit signs and that for the school crossing and that you guys asked for us to put up. We installed 11 meters in meter pits, so we're moving the meters from inside the house to outside the meter pits. We got all the GIS for the new water line and hydrant valves, and our GIS maps dated. And then we had 3 sewer calls, and all 3 of them were on private lines. Any questions?
Just one. You said that you took meters out of homes and put them in a meter pit.
Out the yard. So what we're doing, we're dropping the new meters in.
This is only new builds only, or
That's correct.
Okay.
So any new buildings, any new homes being put are getting meter pits outside the yard. And a big reason why we do that is, so if somebody needs their water turned on, they have to be home for us to turn their water on if it's off, otherwise they have a leak. So now we can turn the water on outside and check the meter. If the meter's spinning, they got an issue. If it's not spinning, we're good to leave the water on. So that's a convenience for the people that don't have to be there to have the water turned on.
I was just wondering if you were going to come take mine out of my house and put them out there. Okay. Doesn't sound like you're going to do that anytime soon.
We're eventually going to work on that, absolutely. There's
Oh,
money
okay.
in the budget to do that.
Okay.
What we're doing first is we're going to go after the old meters that are inside the houses and get them replaced, and then eventually get to it.
So that will come down the road where we put all meters.
Any new construction is getting the meter pit and the meter out in the yard.
And in the future, we're looking at any current
Yes,
homes.
you have a new home.
That'll be,
Yeah, it'll be a while.
okay, yeah. All right, thanks.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Joe.
The next item I have is I have a change order for the water line replacement for Vasco, Tomahawk, and Hawthorne to Gerner Construction for the amount of $51,227. A lot of this came up because we're replacing the old water line, and there's a lot of unknowns to where we're getting at. There's some places where we thought it was on one side of the street, it wasn't on the other side of it was on the other side of the street. The original contract was for $58,634. The change order is a $51,227, makes the grand total to $634,861. The budget amount for that project was $608,960. Cost for the project is $634,861. So I need to reallocate $25,901 coming out of the chlorine and gas budget, which we are under budget on. So all in all, I need approval for the change order for $51,227.
Are we 25,000 under budget in those?
We'll be over budget of $25,901.
I believe what he's asking is in the chlorine and gas
On the chlorine
billing,
and
are we
gas.
under-
We are under budget on that.
But by how much?
Are we under budget the 25,000?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we did with that, they did well 9 and they did the liquid chlorine, and we had put in the budget for a contract to do the liquid chlorine. So after we seen what was all involved in the liquid chlorine, we did that in-house, so we saved quite a bit of money on that. Wasn't as much to it as what we thought originally.
Any other questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the water main project change order number 1 in the amount of $51,227.
So moved.
Sorry, which one?
These two.
Yeah, just one of them step up. Which one do you want to go first?
I'll do it, doesn't matter.
Okay, Jaspering, seconded by Quarter. All right. Roll call vote.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman Schultz?
Yes.
Alderman Quarter?
Yes.
Alderman Cullum?
Yes.
Alderman Jaspering?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with one absent. And
That's all I have.
all right, I believe we need to go back and revisit. The MoDOT rep is here.
Do we need to have a motion to bring it back up?
I'm not sure. That'll be up to, since it was tabled,
You can bring it up at any time.
since we're in the same session, I think we can. Good question, though. Is it Jeff Niemeyer? Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm Jeff Niemeyer, the area engineer for Warren, Montgomery, and Lincoln counties. Pretty much, we have an ADA project coming through on 47. We're gonna be touching 3 intersections, be Walton Street, Boone Slick, and I got another one here, the Veterans Memorial. So really, it's just kind of part of our ADA transition plan. So really just touching the 4 corners. And really why we've come to the city is On Walton, we don't own the actual south corners of that intersection, but to get our crosswalks across those roads to tie in, we basically have asked permission to work on those corners and bring those up to snuff.
I think the only question we had, we did table this because we didn't know if you were going to be able to make it or not, but the question we did have was in reference to the maintenance afterwards.
Okay?
Is that maintained by us
So
as
the
a
maintenance
city?
agreements we have would still be the same, so you guys would still maintain the south too, and we would maintain, the rest of the project we all maintain, those other,
The Walton area we would still maintain.
yeah, the south too, so.
Right.
Basically, what had happened is we widened the road a few years ago, back in the 2000s, and we bought up right away through 47, and we stopped on the north side of Walton. So that's kind of where we have right away, so that kind of makes sense. So we will still maintain what's on our right of way, and you guys will still maintain what's on your right of way.
Makes sense.
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Any other questions?
That's time.
All right.
Motion to.
I'll entertain a motion for first reading of bill number 78-22.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Schultz. Who was the second? Motion made by Alderman Cullum. Or seconded by Alderman Cullum, I'm sorry.
An ordinance authorizing execution of a municipal agreement between Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission and the City of Warrenton, Missouri for an ADA sidewalk project at Highway 47 and Walton Street.
I'll entertain a motion for second reading of bill number 78-22.
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Miller, seconded by Alderman Quarter.
An ordinance authorizing execution of a municipal agreement between Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission and the City of Warrenton, Missouri for an ADA sidewalk project at Highway 47 and Walton Street.
Roll call vote.
Is Alderman Schultz?
Yes.
Alderman Quarter?
Yes.
Alderman Cullum?
Yes.
Alderman Jaspering?
Yes.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Bill passes 5-0 with one absent.
And then, just so I'm aware of who's gonna be the one signing on that, agreement, the mayor?
Yes.
I know at one time we had revised it to be Brandy, but the ordinance and the agreement need to match up, so. All right, typically it's the mayor, but.
Jeff, I do have one quick question. When's it gonna start, do you know? Springtime,
So,
summer? Or?
it's gonna let in January, so hopefully we'll get a good bid and it'll start whenever the contractor gets to it. I think it's gonna have a December 1st completion date. It's lumped together with several other ADA transitions in Montgomery City, Wright City, Middletown, and Wellsville. So it's part of a bigger project, but we only have these 3 intersections in Warrenton.
If you get a bid, it's January start date with a completion in
So
December of
January would be
2023.
the letting, so February would be the award, so it could start, April-ish would be the earliest it could start.
I think the only reason we're asking is if we're asked by some of the constituents in our wards, we need to be able to have the answer of
Yep.
how it's going to work. So,
And like I said, that's all online on our website, whether it gets awarded or not, and I, work pretty closely with Brandy, but I would think we would get a fair amount of bids since we are lumping it together with several projects.
excellent. Thank you.
Anything else for me?
I don't believe so.
All righty, thank you guys for your
Thank you,
time.
Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from City Clerk Melody Rue.
Today was the first day of candidate filing, and so far we had those that filed for mayor, Eric Schluter. For Alderman in Ward 1, we had Pat Mahone and Larry Quarter. For Alderman Ward 2, Stephen Cullum, and for Alderman Ward 3, Jeff Jaspering.
Pat, do you want to stand up and introduce yourself so people know who you are?
Hey, how's it going? I'm Pat Malone, and I live in Ward 1. I've lived here about 2 years. And, I invested in Warrenton, and I want to see my investment grow.
Thank you. Anything else? All right. I'll entertain a motion to close the regular Board of Alderman meeting and go into executive session for personnel.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Cullum, seconded by Alderman Schultz. Is that correct? Roll call vote.
Alderman Quarter?
Yes.
Alderman Cullum?
Yes.
Alderman Jaspering?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy?
Nope.
Oh, shoot. Alderman Miller?
Okay. Yes.
Alderman Schultz?
Yes.
Motion passed 5-0 with one absent. Thanks, folks, for joining us. We'll